You will lead the pledge, please, for me?
Absolutely. We are live.
Thank you. Thank you.
We are live.
Oh, good evening, everyone. I'm sorry, I was waiting for the music. Welcome to the Glendale City Council meeting of February the 1st, 2022, being called to order at 6:03. To help slow the transmission of COVID-19 and protect the health and safety of the community, City Council as well as board and commission meetings will continue to be closed to the public for in-person attendance. The public is encouraged to watch and participate from the safety of their homes to practice social distancing. Meetings are broadcast live on Glendale TV, viewable on Spectrum Cable Channel 6 and AT&T Uverse Channel 99. Meetings are also streamed live in high definition on the city's webpage, glendaleca.gov/live, on youtube.com/myglendale, and on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire devices using a free app called ScreenWeave and choosing Glendale TV from the menu. For public comments and questions during the meeting, please call 818-937-8100. Public comments on specific agenda items will be taken when that agenda item is discussed. Thank you. And with that, roll call, please.
Councilmember Agajanian.
Present.
Brotman.
Here.
Kasakian.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
And Mayor Devine.
Here. What's next, please?
Next would be the flag salute.
Thank you. Would you please stand and join Mr. Ajemian in the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for tonight's invocation. Heavenly Father, thank you for many and abundant blessings. Thank you for protecting us and for providing the way for us to meet, learn, and grow. We pray for the agenda set before our council and mayor today. May their decisions benefit all those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Glendale. We pray for all this in your name. Amen.
Thank you. The next item, please.
Next item is the agenda for the February 1st, 2022 regular meeting of the Glendale City Council, which was posted on January 25th, 2022 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you. And the next item?
Next item would be 3, presentation and appointments. 3A, agenda preview for the meeting of Tuesday, February 8th, 2022 by John Tucktalian.
Thank you. Mr. Tectalian?
Good evening, Mayor Devine, members of the City Council. Next week, we have 2 meetings. The afternoon meeting will be a special City Council meeting with 2 items. So the first will be a report from Management Services regarding consideration for implementing a public monument and memorial bench plaque policy. That'll be followed by a report from Community Development regarding an update of the draft economic development plan. In the evening during the City Council meeting, under consent, we'll have a report from the Public Works Department regarding selection of a consultant to provide sanitary sewer closed-circuit television and condition assessment with recommendations. And that'll be followed by a report from the City Attorney regarding the consideration of a resolution to allow City Council and all legislative bodies to continue to meet remotely pursuant to the Brown Act. Under action items, the first item will be from Glendale Water and Power regarding agreements for residential virtual power plant program with Sunrun Incorporated. And the last report will be regarding the 2022 electric COSA, or the cost of service analysis for electric rates. That concludes next week's presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. And the next item?
Next item is consent items, including minutes. The following are routine and may be acted upon by one motion. Any member of the council or the audience requesting separate consideration may do so by making such request before motion is proposed.
I would like to move items 4A, B, C, D, and I guess that's it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Agajanian,
Yes.
Brotman,
Yes.
Kasakian,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
and Mayor Devine.
Yes. The next item?
City Council and staff comments.
Thank you. My colleagues, do you have any comments, or Councilmember Najarian?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't know if we are planning to have a commendation, but we should all know that February is Black History Month, which is celebrated each year during February, and it's a chance for Americans to learn the details of our nation's history that unfortunately are far too often neglected and pushed to the wayside. And as the saying goes, Black history is American history, and it's a varied and rich history. They say you have to learn your history so as not to repeat your errors. And so it is important for us to cherish our collective memory and not let it disappear into the depths of forgotten history. What happens in the past shapes and informs where we're heading in the future, and it's of paramount importance for us to set aside a month for learning as much as we can about Black history. So I believe the city, I believe we do proclamations for Black history, but if for some reason this has not been put on our to-do list, let's make sure that sometime during February we prepare a proper commendation. The other item I have to talk about sort of is related to this. On Friday, February 14th, we at Metrolink, now Metrolink is different from Metro. I was talking about Metro the last few meetings. Metrolink is the 5-county Southern California Regional Rail Authority. Metrolink is inviting everyone to take a seat, any seat, and ride Metrolink for free on Friday, this Friday, February 4th. That's because it's Transit Equity Day, and we celebrate Transit Equity Day on the birthday of civil rights pioneer Rosa Parks. Metrolink is committed to providing safe, accessible, and affordable transportation for everyone. All you have to do is simply arrive at a station and board the train. No tickets are required for system-wide Metrolink service. That means you can take it from Glendale to Union Station and all the way down to the beaches in Orange County and down to Oceanside, actually. Or you can go to Ventura County, you can go to the Antelope Valley, or out to San Bernardino and Riverside. Transit Equity Day is a national day of action to commemorate Rosa Parks' birthday by declaring that public transit is a civil right. Ms. Parks, an iconic civil rights leader, refused to give up her seat on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama in protest and to demand an end to segregation on transit systems. So everyone, free rides back and forth all day on Friday on the Metrolink, and the nearest stop is our Glendale train station just off of San Fernando. And the last thing I want to talk about, Mayor, you and I discussed this earlier with the police chief, are the requests for more flock cameras. Flock cameras are the video cameras that are placed in neighborhoods which record vehicles, and in the event of crime, those videos serve as a resource. Chief Paulovitis said that he's working on it, and he's going to be coming back with a report so he can let us know what a neighborhood needs to do to try and qualify for a flock camera. Funding obviously is limited. We can't put one in every neighborhood. Chief, do you want to tee up your report, or did I do enough of a job to set the table for your next appearance?
Madam Mayor, Councilman Najarian, you pretty much teed it up. Yes, we will be coming back to you with a report. We are operating some flock camera systems that you all have approved using grant funding in the city, and I know there are some homeowners associations and so forth that are interested in developing a partnership, and so that report will be forthcoming to you for consideration and approval. And then, if I may, take your indulgence just a little bit. One of the other things is on our website. If you do happen to have a security camera, we have launched a camera registration program, which is completely voluntary. Our website allows you to kind of put your name and contact information in and where your camera is, and that will be helpful to our detectives, that if we are doing an investigation, they will be able to contact you. It'll save us knocking on a lot of doors. So if somebody's interested in letting us know that they have a camera, that information we don't release to anybody else, and it's purely voluntary. And if we're looking for a suspect or information related to a crime, then we would just give you a call and see if you are willing to help us out. So there are two things that we're working on, but I will be back to you with a report on the flock type cameras.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. That's all I have, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Excuse me, I have a question from the chief.
Go ahead, Mr. Councilmember Agajanian.
Maybe you explained it. Is that something that I will volunteer to put a camera on my property, let's say outside of my house, that you will take the advantage of it, or I have to have a camera and connect to the system?
Two separate programs. For the flock cameras, the ones that we currently have are operated by the city itself. There have been some groups that have expressed interest in purchasing that particular type of camera and allowing us to have access to it, so we'll be back to you with that. The other one where I'm talking about what I call just the registration program, that is purely voluntary. So there's a lot of people who have doorbell type cameras or security cameras, and whether it's a business or a residence, and on that one, they can just go onto our website and let us know that you have a camera on your property, and if we have something that we're investigating, then we will reach out to you and ask if you could help us out.
Thank you.
Councilmember Najarian.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Someone indicates I may have misspoken on the Metrolink free rides. That's February 4th. That's this Friday, not February 14th. You should be planning other activities February 14th. It could involve taking the train on a romantic trip down the coast, though.
Yeah, right.
You said it.
But February 4th are the free rides.
I was ready to go to Santa Barbara. I thought, I'll just catch and go up to Santa Barbara. Okay, thank you, Chief. That's a lot of good information coming for our residents. And I would ask Mr. Galanian, have we had a request for a commendation for Black History Month as of today?
Excuse me, Madam Mayor, Member City Council, I'm told that staff is working on a commendation to bring back to council next Tuesday.
Great, okay, thank you. All righty, next would be Councilmember Kasakian. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to join Councilmember Najarian in recognizing Black History Month and look forward to all the programs that we're doing. In addition to that, I would like to wish all of our residents and people who live and work in the city of Glendale who celebrate the Lunar New Year a happy Lunar New Year. It's the year of the tiger. Hopefully not the Cincinnati Bengals Tigers, but hopefully it's a happy year of the tiger regardless. In addition to that, I do want to ask staff a question about the California Rental Assistance Program. This is coming for the first time to them at this point, so I don't expect an answer right now. I can wait for an answer at a future meeting. But I had a property owner approach me and ask me what the city is doing to help facilitate and help individuals who are running into problems and issues receiving their rental assistance that the government had, state, federal funds have been allocated to help individuals. But a lot of people are still waiting just as their unemployment checks and other benefits are running out. And according to this individual who approached me, they said that when they looked into it, the city of Bell Gardens is a tier 1 partner with ERAP, whereas they did not see the city of Glendale on that list. What a tier 1 partner does is they have the ability to access the website for ERAP directly to help applicants. I think given the population that we have and the number of people we may have in need, possibly who have limited English proficiency, I would like staff to look into what it would take for us to have staff work more closely with ERAP and for us to have points of contact here in the city that when we're approached, we don't just hand them off to the next agency and have them get lost in a bureaucratic maze, as it may be. Apparently, Glendale Youth Alliance is a tier 3 community partner. I don't know what that means. So I would like to understand what these partnerships entail and how we can make sure that our residents have the best support that they can have from our city. So if we can have that, if anyone else would like to have that looked into, I would greatly appreciate it from my colleagues.
Sure, I would second that.
Thank you, Councilmember Brotman. Is all.
Councilmember Brotman, thank you.
Yes, I can't resist. But since Councilmember Kasakian brought up the Lunar New Year, I just want to say to all of our Chinese residents, 新年快乐, 恭喜发财. That's it. That's how you greet people on the Chinese New Year's in Chinese.
How do you say go Rams?
That I don't know. You would say Rams, jayo. No, you'd say Niu jayo, something like that.
Is that it? Councilmember Ojanian?
No, Madam, thank you.
All righty. Well, it's funny because my students taught me Gung Hai Pat Choi. So I wanted to also wish our Chinese community a happy Lunar New Year. My other comment is that with the latest study that was released this past week regarding gas stoves and the impact on climate change, the methane leaks that they're detecting, I'm going to request that we revisit. I requested in the past that we require electric appliances in all future builds or development in Glendale. I know that that's on our priority list for ADUs, but I'd like to see that in all of our future development. The constant tiny methane leaks from these appliances, even when they're turned off, supposedly, is the equivalent of like an annual 500,000 cars on our streets, or what the US puts into the air every 3.5 hours. And they found that 3/4 of the emissions were released when the stoves were off. And so they're constantly bleeding a little bit of methane into the atmosphere all the time. This is in addition to the 6.8 million tons of carbon dioxide that gas stoves emit when they are in use. So I know it's an early study. It's the first one. It's not a large study, but I think it's It warrants us looking into it. So I'd like to request, if I get a second from one of my colleagues, that staff bring back a study possible draft ordinance as soon as possible, because I know we have a big build coming, which would make mandatory electric appliances in all future developments, not just ADUs, as I previously suggested. Is there a second?
Madam Mayor?
I can second it.
Okay.
I can second.
Kasakian, thank you. Yes.
But maybe Mr. Galanian can mention, because staff has been working on this for quite some time, to develop reach codes that would involve all new construction in Glendale and would either require that these new buildings are all electric, or if they don't go all electric, they would need to achieve a higher level of energy efficiency. So I know that's in the works, and maybe Mr. Galanian can tell us where that stands, because that would address this whole issue that you're raising.
Yes, Madam Mayor, Member City Council, that is accurate. Our sustainability officer has been working on this item for quite a while and putting the final touches on that report and the ordinance. We'll just have to determine a appropriate, proper time to bring it to council, including the reach code. And that will cover, Madam Mayor, your request as well.
Okay, so that will be in the reach code?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how soon do you think this is going to be coming to council? Would that be in the next, let's say, month?
I would say probably the next 3 months.
Because I know we have
Yeah.
huge development coming, and I certainly would like to see this done as soon as possible. Is it possible to just do this one by itself?
Please allow me to get together with Mr. Jones and look at our future agendas, and depending on our staffing resources, we'll see if we can fit it in. We'll definitely look into it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, staff, any staff comments? None? Okay, thank you. Next item is the community event announcements. Mr. Jimian?
Correct, Mayor, and I do have 5 callers on the line.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry, I hope one of them is mentioning the Black History Month exhibit that at the Adams Square Homeowners Association is going to be presenting on Saturday at 4 o'clock. And I hope to see a lot of people there, because I think that's an important event. Let's hear the first caller.
Mike Mohill, you have 3 minutes, Mike. Go ahead.
Hello, council members. Mike Mohill. Happy New Year's. It's been a while since I called in last. I'd like to, first of all, thank Councilman Devine, Brotman, and Kasakian for bringing up council districts, and now we got the pension crisis, which we know is upside down. The other thing I want to talk about, which is new, which I have not discussed since last year when former city manager Yasmin Beard was on council, and Mayor Devine, you were a council person, is the Americana brand. We know that the Americana is not making money for Glendale taxpayers. Glendale taxpayers paid millions of dollars into the Americana, and we're not getting any money back. The only person who's making money on the Americana is Mr. Caruso. Now, during the candidate forum, Mayor Devine and Brotman and Kasakian, you all said you were going to bring it up, the Americana and the finances. Isn't it about time that in 2022 we'd have an open book and some transparency on it? I've had several calls to my community newsletter, people asking me, Mike, whatever happened to the Americana finances? You know, sure, it's great. It's been a good engine for the city of Glendale, but that's not the point. The point is that it was supposed to make money for Glendale taxpayers. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Councilman Ajanian, you were at one time against it because it wasn't going to make any money for the Glendale taxpayers. Unless I'm all wrong, you and Professor Harry Zavos. So isn't it about time that someone puts this thing on the agenda and have a full investigation? I mean, you do all kinds of investigation for other stuff. Why not the Americana? You're not going to find the answer on the city website, like you, Paula Devine and Yasmin Beers. It's not on the website. It's smoke and mirrors. So I'm hoping that Mr. Brotman and Mr. Kazakian and even Mr. Agajanian, and maybe even you, Mr. Nigerian, all bring this up, because you were not involved with the Americana.
Yes, you were.
I don't think Mr. Nigerian was involved with the Americana.
No, he
Unless
was
he
not.
was. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I believe all we need is 3 votes on the council to put it on the agenda. Looking forward, and so are my readers. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, and again, Happy New Year to all.
Thank you. Mr. Moore, I just want to say that we'll be getting a sales tax report soon, and we'll see how that goes. And Mr. Galanian, don't we have on the website the full explanation of the Americana and the funding, et cetera, et cetera? Because I know that City Manager Beers
Yes.
worked that out and put it on because I requested it, that Mr. Mulhill wanted that information. And it was all put on the website.
Madam Mayor, members of City Council, that is correct. We do have that on the website. I haven't looked at it in a while, to be honest, but we will take a look tomorrow and make sure it's still up to date.
Thank you. Okay, next caller.
Mayor Devine, I did.
Yes.
I did
Mr.
check at the memo that we drafted when Mr. Mulhill first requested this is on the website. It can be found on the rumor page.
Mm-hmm.
It's titled Economic Benefits of the Americana.
Thank you. Thank you. I knew it had to be there because it was a special request, and Mr. Mulhill had asked for it, and we delivered. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Jemian, we're ready for the next caller.
Fernando Hidalgo. Fernando, go ahead.
Hi there. Hi, everyone. Hi, council members and mayor. My name is Fernanda Hidalgo. I wanted to petition for you to consider the Glendale Center Theater a historical landmark of Glendale. The Glendale Center Theater, has a huge community. It's been open for it's been giving shows for over 50 years, and it was recently sold. We just would hate to see it be demolished and just be turned into, another set of apartments. So I just wanted to make it very simple. I just wanted to put it out there. I know there's a couple of us that were planning to join this call to petition this. It's been a fantastic community gathering place and just, a great family place where a bunch of us found community, being new California, residents of California, and it would just be very, very sad to just see it all go away, all those decades of work and just good time to just be demolished. So just wanted to put it out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fernanda. And to all of your friends, I have discussed this with Mr. Galanian, and also I have alerted the Historic Society, Glendale Historical Society. They are already aware of it and are working on this. And so we don't know, we can't tell the developer what to do or whoever bought it, but we are aware of it and we are ready to act on it. So, but thank you very much. My husband and I enjoyed the Center Theater for many years, many years. It was a wonderful place to see a play in the round that you wouldn't ordinarily maybe go to New York to see. So it was always fun and always enjoyable. Thank you. Next caller, please.
Andy Libdy, you have 3 minutes. Andy, go ahead.
I'm also calling about Glendale Center Theater. Glendale Center Theater was sold on January 3rd to developers who actually underbid people who were guaranteeing to keep it a theater. It is the only theater of its kind in Southern California. It is the official state family theater for the state of California. It is only a handful of ones across the nation. The city of Glendale could lose National Endowment for the Arts grant money, also state and local and federal grant money. There's more than 31,000 people on the mailing list who have been inactive. It's one of the only places where you can take your family, you can take your kids, your grandkids, and know they will see a show that is safe and clean and family friendly. Nobody else can guarantee that. I work with a group called Teton Financial and also the Arc Theater Company. I have launched or managed more than 15 theater companies since the 1980s. We would like to have discussion with the mayor and with the City of Glendale City Council about purchasing from the new purchaser. It was an all-cash deal which closed on January 3rd to preserve it as part of the heritage of the City of Glendale. It was opened in 1965. The theater company was founded in 1947. The theater itself is older than many of the people hearing the sound of our voice. My company bought the costume shop contents, bought the scene shop contents, and bought the props and physical stuff. We would like to partner with the City of Glendale in a 501c3 format to preserve this as part of Glendale's cultural heritage for the next generations. Again, my name is Robert Andrew Libby, and I work with Teton Financial and the Arc Theater Company. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Andy. Just leave your information with the, I guess, the receptionist or whoever's taking these calls, and someone from staff can get back to you on this, okay? Thank you. Next caller.
Henry Chachikian, you have 3 minutes. Henry, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to bring attention to the street that I live in, which is the 1200 block of Sonora Avenue. We are having too many problems on the streets, and I wanted to bring this attention to you guys. Well, the first one is it's too dark. The street lights that are on turns off in the middle of the night, or from, I guess, 9 o'clock on. We have potholes, which don't get filled, and I'm the one who goes around, puts sand in them so that our cars don't get messed up. Just what I've gone through is I've gone through 6 mirrors that have been broken, hit and runs, and 2 of my doors have been hit and run on the cars. What else have we? There is, what else? People are parked on the other side of the street, which is the cemetery, and you got people doing drugs there, and I've reported them to the police departments. And on the worst of all is the speeding. I believe the city has already done a study, and the street is supposed to be a 25 zone. I believe the study came back with the average speed of 47. That means people are going up and down at over 60 miles an hour. And I believe the study was done in 2021, and we haven't seen any difference. At this point, I can't have my kids in the front yard to play. So could you guys look into this?
Henry, can you give us your, if I can interrupt you for a second, what block of Sonora are you on?
1200.
Where is your home?
1200 block between Glenwood and Kenneth. And every night we have people speeding up and down. Every day they're speeding up and down. At this point, I've gone through multiple thousands of dollars fixing up my cars.
Okay.
Yeah. And we have more problems. I don't think we have the time for me to go through all of them.
Okay, Henry, I'm sure Mr. Imrani, our Public Works Director, is listening, and he can go out and have staff check the lights. If they're going off in the middle of the night, that is not a good thing. And the potholes. And also Chief Povolitis is here tonight, so I'm sure he's listening and hears your tale of the speeding and other situations going on in your neighborhood. So thank you for calling in. Is there anything else, Henry?
Madam Mayor, he
hang
got
up?
off the call.
Okay, thank you. That's fine. Okay, so I hope that Mr. Imrani and Chief, you'll look into this 1200 Sonora block, and that whole area, I guess, needs to be kind of checked out. Thank you. And the next caller.
Next caller is Karen Kwok. Karen, you have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Karen Clark, and I just wanted to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year. Although this is often referred to as the Chinese New Year, it's actually a Lunar Solar New Year. It's widely celebrated in East Asian countries and also in Southeast Asian countries. This is actually the biggest holiday of the year. It is very important to many Asian cultures because all work comes to a standstill for 10 days. This is actually non-negotiable. That we go into a mad frenzy of cleaning your houses just before the New Year to make sure that you wash away all the luck from the old year and you make way for the incoming fresh luck from the new year. And then this is a time to visit family and friends. And also to pass around little red envelopes with cash, which is a custom that I will be happy to explain at a future date. But, and also, this is important that in East Asian cultures, individual birthdays are not that important because everyone becomes 1 year older at the turn of the new year. So, and this is the year of the tiger, which matters a lot to me because I was born in the year of the tiger. So I'd like to, again, wish everyone just a very happy new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Happy New Year. Celebrate. Next caller.
Madam Mayor, we only take 5 calls for this portion of the community event announcement.
Oh,
3 minutes.
okay. Thank you. And let's move on. Next item.
Next item is 8 action items. 8A, City Clerk, regarding calling for and giving notice of the general municipal election to be held on Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. 1, a resolution calling and giving notice of the holding of a general municipal election to be held on Tuesday, June 7th, 2022, in the city of Glendale for the election of certain officers as required by the provisions of the law of the state of California relating to the charter cities. 2, a resolution requesting the Board of Supervisors of the County of Los Angeles to direct the Registrar, Recorder, County Clerk to render full consolidation election services with the exception of candidate filing to said city relating to the conduct of general municipal election to be held on June 7th, 2022. 3rd, a resolution setting forth regulations relating to the candidate statements for the June 7th, 2022 general municipal election. And number 4, a resolution of appropriation in the amount of $188,203 for the June 7th, 2022 election.
Thank you. Mr. Galanian?
Yes, Mayor Devine, members, City Council, as it was read into the record, there are 4 resolutions for council's consideration pertaining to the notice of this year's the general municipal election slated for June 7th, 2022, and I'm going to turn it back to Mr. Ajemian, who has a brief PowerPoint presentation on this item.
Madam Mayor, the general municipal election will be held on Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. The City of Glendale general municipal election has 3 city council seats, city treasurer, and a city clerk seat. Glendale Unified School Board has 3 area seats, Area B, C, and D. Glendale Community College Trustees has 3 district seats, Districts 2, 3, and 4. The ballot is going to be in the same order as it was on March 2020 election. The ballot order is local, county, then state. Next are the key dates for the elections. Monday, February 14th through Friday, March 11th, 2022. Nomination period for all candidates. Thursday, March 17th, 2022. Randomized alphabet drawing for candidates. Monday, May 9th, county clerk to begin mailing out all vote-by-mail ballots. Tuesday, May 17th, official sample ballot booklets will be mailed to all voters. Monday, May 23rd, last day to register to vote in primary election, although voters can register at the vote center and their votes will be counted when their registration is validated. Continue on the key dates. Saturday, May 28th, first day for 11-day vote centers. Voting center hours are from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday, June 4th, first day for 4-day vote centers. Voting center hours are from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. At this time, we're working closely with LA County to to find out where those voting centers are going to be. Hopefully, we should get it by the end of next month. Tuesday, June 7th, Election Day, polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Friday, July 1st, County Clerk to certify election results. Tuesday, July 5th, Board of Supervisors to declare official results, which that date is still tentative. And Thursday, July 7th, completion of official canvass. Any questions or comments?
Does everyone receive a mail-in ballot?
Correct, Mayor, they do.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from my fellow council members? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion for 8A, 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Yes, may I move item 8A, 1, 2, 3, and 4?
I'm sorry.
Is there a
Madam-
second?
Sorry.
Madam Mayor, before we move on, we did receive a call from LA County today regarding Part 4, which is the resolution of appropriation in the amount of $188,203 for the June 7th, 2022 election. The county called us at 4 o'clock today and let us know that they actually did a mistake on the estimate calculation for the actual election. The estimate calculation they handed to us they sent us was $195,588.81, which is a real good amount. I wish that was the actual amount, but unfortunately, the actual amount is over $500,000. So it's going to cost us more than $300,000 from our initial request of $188,203. We're asking to bring this back next week with the appropriate amounts.
Madam Mayor, members of City Council,
Do we need to bring back the whole item, or can we just bring back the resolution of appropriation? We still can call the election, can we not?
Let's hear from Mr. Galanian. Go ahead, Mr. Galanian.
no, Madam Mayor, I was just going to clarify because I saw the expression on on some of a couple of your faces. That 500,000 estimate is for all three agencies. It's us, GUSD.
No, it's not.
No, it's just us.
No?
That 500 estimate, I'm sorry. The 500,000 estimate is for the 3 seats, which are the 3 council seats, 1 city clerk, and 1 city treasurer seat.
Okay, and as Councilmember Kasakian was asking, we can just bring back item number 4, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so we can vote on A, 1, 2, and 3 tonight.
So I move the item 8A, 1, 2, and 3 then.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Councilmember Kasakian, and roll call, please.
Councilmember Agajanian,
Yes.
Brotman,
Yes.
Kasakian,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
and Mayor Devine.
Yes, and we'll bring 8A4 back next week. Okay, thank you all. Next item.
Next item is 9 hearings of community development regarding the adoption of 2021-2029 Glendale housing element. Continuation from the January 25th, 2022 City Council meeting, resolution adopting the City Council, adopting the City of Glendale 2021-2029 housing element.
Thank you. Mr. Galanian?
Yes, Mayor Devine, members of City Council, this item was continued from last week. Staff and our consultant did provide a comprehensive presentation on a comprehensive report and the housing element. Late last week, say on Tuesday or Monday, we did receive a comment letter hence we requested to continue this item. Pursuant to that, staff has gone through and made some adjustments to the inventory that either Amanda or Erica is going to share with you. So we're not going to go through the entire presentation again from last week, but there are a couple of slides that I'll turn over to Mr. Kraus, our Deputy Director of Community Development, for the presentation and turn it over to Amanda.
Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. As Mr. Galanian mentioned, last week on January 25th, the council received comment letter regarding the these available sites list, including in the housing element. And then consequently, the item was continued to allow us time to take a look at the comment letter and provide feedback on that. So based on the comment letter, changes have been made to the available sites list, which Amanda will discuss in a little bit. I just wanted to talk about a few other things real quick. So even though we did make these changes, we are still meeting our RENA allocation without the need to rezone any additional properties or any properties at all as part of our RENA allocation. And we did also receive a comment letter regarding the city's use of an exemption used to satisfy CEQA requirements for the housing element. Planning staff and the city attorney's office discussed this comment and determined, as we had done previously, that the city's adoption, the city's action to adopt the housing element update is expressly exempt from CEQA review under Government Code Section 65584G. Since this morning, the city has received several other comment letters asking the city to include a labor standards and or community wealth policy in the housing element update. Staff believes that the housing element is not the appropriate document to address these kind of comments. Rather, the housing element is a policy document that's to address current and future housing needs for the city of Glendale. At a minimum, it would require legal analysis to determine whether or not this can actually be done in the housing element. The staff is under the impression that this is not the appropriate document for those comments. And finally, we just received a comment letter claiming that the city's existing uses of the non-vacant sites listed in the city's inventory would be presumed to impede additional residential development, making those sites inappropriate for inclusion. And as we've discussed previously, there's very few vacant sites in Glendale that can be used to satisfy our RENA numbers. And then also the housing element update has been prepared consistent with state's guidelines for the use of non-vacant sites. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Amanda, and she's going to go over some of the changes we made to our available sites and what the final RENA allocation is for the city of Glendale. Thank you.
Okay, Amanda?
Yes, thank you. So I have a very brief presentation tonight, 2 slides. So please bear with me as I pull it up. We'll go through the changes made since the presentation of last week, and it's certainly available to answer any questions you may have. So specifically, the changes made since the presentation comprehensively describing the draft housing element on Tuesday of last week included updating the inventory, which includes approximately 1,075 parcels, which is about 2% of all of the parcels in the city of Glendale, to include 2 new proposed projects that have come online and are under consideration since the time the draft list was prepared. One previously identified site, 444 West Cypress, had been designated as an available site and is now under consideration as a proposed project. The unit affordability distribution for one previously identified site was revised to accurately reflect the current project proposal. And 18 sites were removed from the inventory entirely, including 1 in the downtown specific plan, 2 within the IMUR zone, and 15 of the underutilized residential sites. The majority of those sites were removed because they actually were developed since the last planning period, which further supports the viability of those sites. This resulted in a reduction of the overall surplus by 86 units. And in particular, an updated summary table has been provided that describes the changes from the prior review. As you can see, that 430 units were added to the proposed projects list to reflect current conditions, and a subsequent reduction at the other locations described resulted in an overall reduction of the surplus by 86 units. The city had previously been providing a surplus of approximately 4.6% of its overall RENA, and with these changes are providing a surplus of 5.8%. So as previously described, continuing to accommodate the city's RENA within the strategies previously identified with no rezoning proposed. So with that, that is the end of my presentation. So available for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Councilmember Agajanian, go ahead.
I'm okay with what has been explained here, but I'm looking at the report, page 14 or 76 of 1,910. And I compared with last week when the same project has been presented. The table, which is called Table 1, nothing has been changed on that table from last week to this week. You have adjusted some, a few things on the report as you have presented now. But how come it did not impact the Table 1 where it says elementary very low housing, the total numbers is 3,439 and it's 26% of units. I don't see any changes on that chart. So can you tell me how it did not impact anything after going through all this, eliminating some, adding few? Am I clear what I'm asking?
I think so.
Amanda, I can address that. Councilmember Agajanian, members of City Council. So that the table that was on page 14 of the staff report from last week, that is basically the breakdown of the city's reallocation we're responsible for. So that number wouldn't have changed because those are still the numbers that the city has to basically account for as part of the 6th cycle housing element.
But based on that, you have to show that you have that many units or opportunity to have it, right?
That's correct, yes.
So then nothing has been changed and will not impact what we said there.
No, what has changed is how we're allocating those sites. So some of those numbers have changed. The table 1 on page 14 of the staff report talks about the total reallocation the city is responsible for in the different income categories that we need to provide for as part of our RENA. The numbers that changed in the table that we went over today are numbers in terms of how the city is going to basically provide for those RENA numbers. So some of those numbers changed based on changes from new projects that came in and specifically the Armory site, which has been removed from our available sites list. So table 1, those numbers will stay the same as, because those are basically given to us from SCAG in terms of what we're responsible for planning to in our housing element.
And what we have will satisfy the numbers on table 1.
That's correct.
All right, thank you. That was my question.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? Comments?
Madam Mayor, we have a couple of callers.
Okay, let's hear from our callers and then we'll get back to you, Councilmember Brotman.
Joshua Christensen, you have 2 minutes, Joshua, go ahead.
Hello, City Council members. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
We can.
My name is Joshua Christensen. I'm a local resident here. I'm also a member of the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters. You know, we live in the area. We just work in the area. We, recreate in the area. I go to church in the area. And there's a little bit of confusion, I think, with staff saying that labor should not be part of this or has no right to be part of the element, this housing element. I think that's completely wrong. Other cities have adopted that. The city should require all projects to be built utilizing skilled and local skilled and trained workforce. A local hire and skilled trained workforce requirements reduce construction-related environmental impact while benefiting the local economy. In the 2020 report titled Putting California on the High Road, a Job and Climate Action Plan for 2030, the California Workforce Development Board concluded that investment in growing and diversifying and upskilling California's workforce can positively affect the returns on climate mitigation efforts. Moreover, this year, the South Coast Air Quality Management District found that the use of local state certified apprenticeship programs or in skilled trained workforce with local hire components can result in air pollution reductions. Other cities have not hesitated to apply skilled and trained workforce requirements for private development projects in their cities. recently Northern California, up in the city of Hayward, they just adopted this, and much other cities locally are also looking at these plans as well, and getting ready to adopt into their plans. Local skilled and trained workforce requirements can boost economic development and mitigate transportation and greenhouse gas impact by minimizing vehicle miles traveled. So I know staff said that this is not a place for local hire or local jobs or skilled and trained workforce, but in other cities they're seeing the importance of this and how it can help that greenhouse gas impact and all that stuff as well. We need to reevaluate that and see how important it is. Also, not only is it important just for for less miles traveled, what about the folks that are here in Glendale that need a trade and need to learn a trade? It's our opportunity and our duty to be able to provide that for them, so they don't have to travel all over Southern California to find a good paying job with benefits, healthcare, all the benefits that American dream Act requires, and we all want. We thank you for your time, and thank you.
Thank you, Joshua. Now, Mr. Galanian, since staff has recommended that we not, or said that this housing element is not the place for us to look at labor standards or community wealth policy, we can agendize, or we can ask staff to look into that, can we? Can we not? If my colleagues decide that they want to kind of look into this issue?
Yes, Madam Mayor, that is correct. If it's the council's direction, we can definitely agendize it and bring it back for your consideration.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, if you're making that request, I'll second it.
It sounds like a good idea, and I think Joshua makes a lot of good points, and I know we've all heard from a lot of carpenters. So if someone would like to make
I'll
that.
second it. Madam Mayor?
Yes.
If you're making a request, I'll proudly second it. I want to hear, and I want to make sure that we do right by those who live and work in the city.
Okay. Are we good with that, Mr. Galanian?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I just want to emphasize that we have quite a number of very important items that's going to be coming forward to council, so that this may take a while based on the resources that we have.
Well, we'll put, as long as it makes it to the list and we, staff is aware of it. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, next item. Next caller.
Chuck Powell, you have 3 minutes. Chuck, go ahead.
Thank you very much. My name is Chuck Powell, and I'm also a member of the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters, along with Mr. Christensen. I am a 34-year carpenter, and I was 34 years ago went through the apprenticeship program along with two of my sons who have gone through the program and have journeyed out and have decent, honest paying jobs. I mean, we're not asking to make money to drive a Ferrari or Porsche. We just want to be able to live in the community that we build. I think it's very, very important for that fact. Also, the amount of items that we have in our organization with the African American task force that we have, in integrating the hard hats to helmets, where the people come right out of the military right into a job. We have the one for the high schools where they can the kids that don't want to choose that 4-year college that can come into the apprenticeship and have a nice a decent paying job. So all we're asking for is family health care, a livable wage that we can live in the community that we grew up in, and that we build. Again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next caller.
Madam Mayor, at this moment, I do not have a caller for this item. I have one for oral communication, which is the next item.
All right.
Would you like to wait about 30 seconds and see if there's any callers that come in because of the delay?
I think probably the callers are going to be, well, I guess I shouldn't assume, are going to be from the carpenters, and we've already agendized this item, so hopefully they're satisfied with that, and we'll go from there. So do I have a motion for this item?
Oh, Madam Mayor?
Councilmember Brotman?
Yeah, I have some general comments I want to make before we go into the motion.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess I'd be lying if I said I was entirely satisfied with this housing element, especially with the process that got us to where we are right now. Somehow we've allowed this whole project to get pushed up against the very end of the 120-day grace period. And we're in a position today in which we really have no choice but to adopt it. It's again, one of those gun to the head situations, which I really don't like. The back-ended schedule has also meant that we've shortchanged the public input process. And this is not something new. I've raised my concerns about this many times on this dais over months going back to probably March of last year, and specifically talked about Assembly Bill 215, which requires cities to give the public a full 30 days to comment on an actual draft before the draft goes to HCD. I brought that up. I was told we don't have to do that. As a result, most of the stakeholder outreach was done before there was an actual draft to comment on. So it was very generic. And the substantive comments that came once we had an actual draft out for people to review came in too late for HCD to look at and to give us feedback on. So, I wasn't surprised when I saw the critique in the letter, which you've all seen, the letter from HCD dated December 31st, and I want to just read a little part of it, which says, HCD understands the city made the element available to the public on November 1st, 2021, concurrent with its submittal to HCD. By not providing an opportunity for the public to review and comment on a draft of the housing element in advance of submission, the city has not yet complied with mandates to make a diligent effort to encourage the public participation in the development of the element. And it reduces HCD's ability to consider public comments in the course of its review. And in addition, in the same letter, I'll read another part which says, as the city submitted revisions late in the review period on December 27th to incorporate revisions from public comments, HCD was unable to consider these revisions in the review. Additional revisions will be necessary to comply with state housing element law. So I say all this because we're now being asked to adopt a plan that we don't even know is compliant, and it's due to be submitted to the state in, I think, just a week. And this is an uncomfortable position to be put in. So, of course, I will vote to adopt this element because we don't have a choice. But I really want to point out the issues that I've been concerned about all throughout this process that were borne out in the letter that we got from HCD. I also think there's three major problems, and I would put odds on getting this kicked back from HCD because I don't think this is a compliant housing element. There are three problems. One is we're treating lots of sites as a sure thing, but many are unlikely to get developed at all, or if they do, probably not at the densities indicated. And our buffer of 6% is very small. I think what that means is we're going to have to go back to the trough later because of the no net loss provisions. Will we have available sites? Maybe. Will we be forced to rezone at that time? I don't know. I wish I knew that now when we were voting to adopt this element. The second thing, probably more concerning, is it doesn't look like we've complied with the requirements to affirmatively further fair housing, or AFFH, since virtually all the development we're showing is in the multifamily zones. I know this is sensitive, but we do need to demonstrate somehow that we're not perpetuating the exclusionary policies that we know live on from Glendale's past. And I think this is going to be an issue for HCD. There's also a problem, I think, with our ADU methodology. HCD specifically said they don't think we're using the correct methodology. They pointed out we haven't made any changes. We'll see if that becomes an issue. So, I get that this stuff is not easy, which is why it's frustrating for me at the 11th hour to be looking at something that I think still has a lot of questions to be resolved. So I just, I don't want to say we're doing everything wrong. I don't want to be, so critical here. I mean, we have been developing in Glendale, so we've been a good citizen. Burbank, as we know, is facing the problems of, having to run projects that have 10% of affordable units through an administrative review process without public hearings because they didn't build in the last RENA cycle, not even close to what they were required. So, we exceeded the market rate numbers. It gives us a lot more flexibility to apply design review. I'm proud of us for that. I just want to make sure we do the right thing going forward so that, we don't have any of our authority taken away in the future. And I just wanted to make those comments, but I do support this adoption.
Thank you, Councilmember Brotman. Mr. Galani, I'd like to hear staff's response to Mr. Brotman's allegations or the facts or whatever that he's stating.
Madam Mayor, members of City Council, I'm not sure if you can hear me. My microphone just died. But I'm going to turn it over. Oh, it came back on. Going to ask Phil Lanzafame or Eric Krause or Amanda to respond to those comments.
Madam Mayor, if I could just generally, I understand Mr. Brotman's frustration. We were working with resources that we had, and we worked on and we got to this point as quickly as we could. There was some questions about the bill and the need to provide 30 days before. I think our initial direction was that that's not effective until January 1st. In fact, the bill isn't effective until January 1st. I believe HCD in their comment letter, they did reference materials that they received, comments that they received that we have responded to in our draft, that they took those into consideration. We did have a long conversation with HCD. And so I would just say in general, we believe that the document that we have provided to you meets HCD's requirements. Now, will HCD ask us to tweak some things? They may. There is a lot of new material that everybody is trying to sort out, not only local jurisdictions, but HCD itself, because there are new elements to the housing element itself. So I understand the frustration. I wish that we had a completed document some time ago, and we didn't. But I would also tell you that we're not the only city in this situation. And I think that's reflective of the difficulty that everybody's having with this cycle. So with that as general comments, I don't know if Eric or Amanda has anything more specific to add. Let me just finish with, it is a fluid document. Over the period, the 8-year cycle, the council may have the desire to make changes to that element, and we can. And Mr. Brotman, you're absolutely correct. No net loss. And if we need to, we will either go look for additional sites or rezone in, but we're going to need to rezone very carefully so that we meet the standards of HCD. Glendale is a built-out city. While we're 30 square miles, we only have about 17 that are developable, and I think you all know that all 17 are developed. So it has been a bit of a puzzle for us that we've tried to put together. I don't say that as an excuse. It is a reason why we're here.
Thank you. Amanda, do you have anything to add?
No, I would just like to echo those comments and our response. Again, it's been a very challenging cycle to prepare a housing element, and as evident by the general consensus of jurisdictions, particularly built out jurisdictions in Southern California, a lot of new challenges that we've worked diligently to address in consultation with HCD to meet the requirements to the best of our ability. So again, we've worked closely with them through this review and revision process, and it's our intent, as was previously described, that the revisions made to the draft address those findings that were presented for the city to respond to. So we've worked extremely hard to do that. So we hope that upon further review that we can, again, make any final tweaks or revisions necessary, but we hope that we've been able to satisfactorily address their comments through our work with them and through the review and revision process.
Thank you, Amanda. Councilmember Najarian, did you want to say something?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to support this element, and I just want to sort of bring my observations up a few thousand feet, and that is that it is clear that the residents of Glendale do not speak with uniformity on their desire for more housing and more density. These units, the RENA numbers have been imposed by the state of California and tweaked by the regional planning agency, SCAG. A lot of people, in fact, most of the comments I get are that Glendale has produced too much housing, that we're too dense, that the density of the housing creates ancillary problems such as traffic. They wonder where the water is coming from to service these units, where the electricity is coming from, et cetera, et cetera. I do also recognize that we do have an affordability problem in Glendale. And many of the speakers, in fact, some of the speakers today, the Carpenters Union indicated that yes, they may be working to build homes in Glendale, but they can't afford to live in Glendale. So it's incumbent on us to produce affordable units. But it's a situation that the council has been put in. We have tried to preserve these single-family neighborhoods, and it's not to perpetuate exclusionary zoning and racism and all that, but for many, the American dream is owning that home in a single-family residence. That is changing now. The state has changed that for us. There is no, in very few instances, there are no more single-family zoned residences. So that's the dilemma that council is dealing with. We're tasked with showing the state that we have available space and available units for construction. And there isn't, I don't need to tell you, there isn't a project that goes by, whether it's a 4-bedroom small condo or even a home in a single family home where there was a vacant lot, that we don't get a lot of criticism for overdeveloping the city. But these are the cards that we're dealt with as the city council. We have to show that these opportunities are available for development to produce housing along the spectrum that we've discussed. And that's what we're doing. I think if it was up to the 5 of us as to what we would decide for housing, I think it would be different than the 13,000 RENA numbers that the state is giving us. But I'm preaching to the choir here. You're all very familiar with the issues, but I just want the public to know that this is what we've been tasked to do, and we're doing our best to do it in a fair and equitable way. So thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other comments from council? I just want to say that, I sit on the regional council for SCAG and also on the housing ad hoc committee, and all of the city representatives believe that with these RENA numbers, everyone is set up to fail. And so I think what we're doing is the best we can to make sure that we get as close as we can and try the best we can to reach the highest number of units that we need, and make sure that those units are are spread out amongst all of our economic layers in our community. And I know that I don't think any of us are trying to be exclusionary, and that is a fact that I would take to the bank. We are not trying to do that. We are absolutely trying to make sure that everyone that needs a home or a house or a roof over their head will have it. And we are charged with meeting these numbers, and I think staff is trying their best to make sure that the state feels that we can do that. And I think we also have to remember that this is a living, breathing document. It's not cast in stone, all of it. We can change it, we can tweak it, we can add. Well, the most important thing is we can add to it. So I think we have to support it and let Amanda run with it and go from there. So with that, do I have a motion?
Yes,
Yep.
I would like to move item 9A.
Thank you, Councilmember Agajanian. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Agajanian,
Yes.
Brotman,
Yes.
Kasakian,
Madam Mayor, I just want to briefly say that to be consistent with my position and my displeasure with both the RENA numbers and the state's approach to all of this, I'm going to respectfully abstain from this vote because I do respect the work that staff has put into this document, given the difficult position that we're in. I will cast my abstention.
Go ahead with the vote.
and Mayor Devine.
Yes. Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item is oral communications. Discussions is limited to items not a part of this agenda. Council may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. The city manager may refer the matter to the appropriate department for investigation and report. Madam Mayor, I do have a caller on the line.
Okay, let's hear from them.
Edwin, you have 5 minutes. Edwin, I do not have your last name. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Hi, Council Member and Mayor Devine. I like to ask some questions that I would like to get answers. The one thing that I would like to ask is, why does the city of Glendale not have a marijuana dispensary? The reason I bring this up is because I noticed that other cities have it, and Glendale doesn't have one. Now, would you consider a marijuana dispensary equivalent to a pharmacy that sells prescription drugs, smoke shops that sell tobacco products, liquor stores that sell alcohol? That's one of my questions. My other question is, you guys talked about the talked about the electrifying the bus system to go all electric. The question that I would like to ask is, since we're moving into electric vehicle, clean energy type of vehicles, the question is regarding electricity. How much power does the city water and power plant generate? How much power does the city and utility customers use? And the third question that we should be asking is, will there be enough electricity to sustain charging all these electric cars? Because I learned that the average charge that an electric car uses is about like 50 kilowatts of electricity. And that's something that we should look into, see if there will be enough power, especially the fact that we're going to have hundreds of thousands of residents with electric cars. Now, speaking about electric transportation, what I would like to ask is the city of Glendale considering building an electric metro rail system that other cities have? The reason I bring this up is because I noticed that the city of Santa Monica, downtown Santa Monica, has an electric rail line that goes to Santa Monica that's about like a couple blocks away from the Santa Monica Pier. And comparing that, I see that the city of Glendale did have a metro, a rail system that was around 1939. And I'm looking at the picture right now after doing a Google search on the Google Images by typing Glendale CA cable power rail. And that's something I would love to see become reality. See if we can have the metro rail line that could connect to Pasadena, because especially those people, we have people in the city that don't have access to cars would love to travel to Pasadena, Santa Monica on the rail system. That would be great. The last question I'd like to ask, Mayor Dwight, is I did speak to you about the theft of the rail cars. The one thing what I was trying to say is that I just learned that Union Pacific Rail has announced that they want to partner with local law enforcement, especially the fact that the rail line is not City of Glendale's jurisdiction. It belongs to LA and Metrolink jurisdiction. And Union Pacific would love to see if Glendale would also become a partner with local law enforcement. That would be something you guys would also support. Thank you.
Thank you, Edwin. I'm just going to be very brief here. You should stay tuned next 2 weeks concerning your question on electricity and the mount, et cetera. Next 2 weeks at council, we'll be discussing the Grayson repowering and renewable energy. Light rail, we are getting BRT. Most of the topics, the questions and projects that you've asked about, council has already talked about and either approved or did not approve. But thank you for your thoughtfulness. Any other callers?
Madam Mayor, that was the last caller and only caller for tonight.
Okay, thank you. What's next, please?
Madam Mayor, it would be adjournment.
All right, do I have a motion?
Yes, may I move to adjourn?
You may. Second?
Second.
Second, we are adjourned this evening at 7:23. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.